Vacation's all I ever wanted. Vacation, I'd go get away.
Welcome to another Ringside. Coming to you live from sunny Florida. Endless summer, baby.
Hell yeah. Endless summer and stripped rights.
Well,
but tight waves.
It's beautiful here. It's 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and you don't learn how to read in school.
But you know what?
But you don't.
Both of us have the full week off of work.
Whoa.
Vacation on airport. And so, you know what? That's why we're like, you know what? We're going to take an extra day. Also, we had a hectic weekend, so that's why you're getting this episode of Ringside a day late. But that's okay.
Yeah, I was sick yesterday, guys. Cut me some slack.
And the day before.
My nose, if you can see it, it is peeling.
It's rubbed raw.
So,
speaking of, we have some Monday Night Raw to watch in here in a little bit, so we're gonna just zip through all the things. But today, so earlier today, fuck it, I'm not gonna try and match up whatever.
Okay.
At the time of this recording, I had a dentist appointment today.
Yeah.
My ongoing dental journey, and they were putting on they are removing a temporary crown and putting on a permanent crown. Mm-hmm. And at one point, they did a fabulous job. I was in and out of there in like 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. But when they were like adjusting, you know, the right shape and length or whatever, mm-hmm. they had basically were like filing it down because the crown was a little long. At one point when they were like testing it out and taking it out, it fell into my mouth.
That's my worst nightmare.
I fucking caught it.
You said,
and it came out of like on top of my lips like a little crown, like a little prize coming out. And I was just like,
and there you go.
And the dental technician, she was like, that was a pretty good catch.
Thank you. What was the alternative? You swallow it?
I'd be like, listen, lady, give me a couple hours. You'll get it right back.
You'll get it back.
No. Some other cool stuff happening this week. There's a lot of shows that are coming back this week. Mm-hmm. Got The Boys coming back.
What?
And in New York City right now, the day after the Puerto Rican Day Parade. Wepa. The banners are coming down, Kendra. I don't know if you've seen this. The banners are coming down on the Brooklyn Bridge, all over New York City. The Targaryens are sieging war against each other.
The banners are going up, is what you're saying.
No, they're dropping down. Okay. I mean, yes, they're going up.
You were saying the banners are going down, and I was like, what banners did they have up? Like,
you got to pick team green or team black.
Yeah, I saw that was like the theme of their...
Yeah. But I saw these two giant banners. I guess 4. But I only saw 2 of them.
Premiere.
Were coming down on the Brooklyn Bridge, mm-hmm. In the name of King Aegon II.
Okay. So I'm going to stop you right here. I've never seen House of the Dragon, and I don't really care about it too much. So I'm not going to be
allegiance. That's what you're saying.
I'm not going to be a good scene partner in this bit. Also, yeah, I don't have an allegiance. I'm neutral. I'm neutral.
See, it's like my brain is telling me team green. No, team black.
Okay.
But my heart's telling me team green.
And ain't that always the way? I can't help you.
It ain't easy being green. Shout out to Kermit. All right, let's get into this list.
Okay.
So we watched NXT Battleground. We watched most of it. We did come in a match late because we were also watching...
Wait. No.
What?
We came in a match late because I was told by someone that it was at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Okay, that's a weird time, but sure. 8:30 rolls around and John goes, oh, I think it's actually happening right now. Yeah.
I was told by AppleCare and Google.
No, he Googled it and he looked at the very first thing that Google said. Google's famous now for having AI answers that are incorrect. So you should have done a little bit more digging, but I didn't look at all. So there's that.
Yeah, where were you when I needed this help?
I didn't even know.
Here's the other thing. Here's the other problem is that a lot of the promo pictures, there were some that did have the correct time. And so that's on me.
Yeah. It's just Kylo has learned how to open this door by himself because it doesn't latch. So he just powers through.
Anyway, I didn't see any promo pictures with
the time on it. Yeah, I thought, and I think that's purposeful because it was on the West Coast,
right?
So they started at like 5, but over here is at 8. So it's like a little bit confusing.
So anyway, they didn't need to know why we started watching late. I was just gonna say we were watching the Celtics game, which is also true.
Well, that's true. We were gonna, because we were like, oh, we'll watch most of this and then we'll switch over because it doesn't start until 10:30 p.m. But I want to make sure that we are honest with our viewers, with each other, and we need to make sure that when stuff like this happens, we do discuss it openly.
Sure. They weren't here for any of that. They don't need to fucking know that. They don't even know my imperfections.
They're right here all the time. With me. I keep them. So anyway, so that's what happened. All your
perfect imperfections.
So we didn't see the very first match, which it was funny when we clicked onto it. We saw, who was it that won?
Kalani Jordan became the first ever women's North American champion.
Jordan?
Yeah, Kalani Jordan.
Who's Grace?
Jordan Grace?
Okay.
Not even the same first name.
Nope.
Maybe it's because they're both on like two
Jordan
first
Grace.
Names. What?
Kalani Jordan. Kalani Jordan Grace.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Because, yeah. All right.
So that's how that mistake went. But yeah, so we saw her like holding up her championship because she won the North American
women's North American championship.
Yeah, well, that goes without saying. I do appreciate, I did notice on NXT, and I don't know if this is something that they're going to do going forward or if this is like an NXT thing. For the women's titles, they did not specify that it was a women's championship. They just said North American champion. And at the end, they said NXT championship for the women's championship.
I didn't notice that. When they debuted the title, they debuted it as the women's North American championship.
Well, anyway, I appreciate it, and I kind of like it.
You were falling asleep half the fucking show, so I don't know what you remember. So
because I was sick again. It wasn't my fault. I tried.
That's your problem, not me. You're the one with allergies.
Anyway, I was just trying to say how much I enjoyed that. It felt very powerful to say, like, sometimes you tack on the women's and it feels like a qualifier. You know what I mean? Good for a woman.
Right.
You know? So I kind of appreciated that they just say.
Remember when Ronda Rousey said that same exact thing on SmackDown and got roasted for it?
Well,
I'm not saying she should have gotten roasted. Let's not mistake that. Yeah. I'm not saying she deserved that. But I think the quip was like I think she had flubbed over. I think she forgot to say the women's part and then went back and added it, but then also said, like, why do we call it that? And then just went on with the rest of her promo.
I mean, I get it, but I also get the other side of it where it's like there are so many titles, names, and it's confusing between all the brands and all the titles and men's and women's. So I get that there needs to be like different naming conventions for them. I'm just saying, in that moment, it was nice to not
agree.
Hear
I think that should be the case too. Now I did write down a couple matches that stood out from the ones we did watch. I mean, I think overall everything we watched most of it, and I think overall it was a pretty good show.
Yeah, nothing really like lagged or anything.
Yeah, I do think the venue was weird. That
it was UFC, so small.
Apex. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be bigger. I mean, the way everyone talks about UFC and how expensive all their fucking pay-per-views are, I thought it was gonna be like this massive stadium.
I assume that's just like
a showroom.
I feel like I've seen bigger venues for those types of matches. But yeah, it was like the first thing I noticed. I'm like, it looks like regular NXT, like when they do it.
Which is fine, but then why go to Vegas?
And also it's like, oh, it's a sold out arena. Well, yeah, there are 200 seats.
Not to take any credit away from them, but
no. I'm saying they could have.
Small.
I think they could have gotten more people. Like I think people would have come to see it. I'm just surprised about how small of a venue it was in.
Yeah,
it felt very intimate.
Yeah, I agree. But a couple matches. I think my favorite match of the night was actually the triple threat match for the North American Championship with Obafemi, Wesley, and fucking Tony Ravioli.
What was his name?
Joe Coffey.
Joe Coffey. I
Yeah.
knew it was something food related.
That strong man. Can't you say he looked like one of those guys in the poster?
He looked like he was like a 1930s, 40s boxer with his like high-rise trunks and his handlebar mustache. It's
glorious.
It was good. But yeah, that one was really good.
That was a good match. Obafemi, that dude's I think I said it yesterday, and I mean it with all the love in my heart. That's a big bitch. That's a huge motherfucker. Yeah. And what's crazy and what I love about him is that he is just this massive fucking dude, but he's doing some crazy shit in the ring. Mm-hmm. And that's just like scary impressive. Yeah, I thought he had a great night last night.
Yeah, it's like when Ivar like does a fucking moonsault or whatever from the top rope. It's like, you shouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah.
And we also were talking about like I don't know, since starting to watch wrestling, there are like, it's so easy to get these big guys, and then they're like
they're limited.
Right, like physically they don't do very much. And then I feel like Omos was kind of like okay. And like Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
Because they're able to do more physical stuff, and they can run around and all that stuff. And then I feel like Obafemi's like the most recent like version of that phenomenon that we're seeing, like these huge guys who are also agile and like entertaining as well.
Yeah, but I thought he had a really great night. And again, we learned he was 26. Like,
that's crazy.
That guy has a fucking hell of a career ahead of him.
Yeah.
Hopefully they continue to let him just like dominate like the way he is, because that's awesome. Jordan Grace and Roxanne Perez had a really great match.
That was a good match.
Listen, Roxanne, the way they have built this girl up to be like just a superstar in NXT, I can't wait for her to be on the main roster.
Yeah.
I'm also biased because it's a great last name.
What if people think that we named it Perez Periodico after Roxanne Perez?
Roxanne
guys,
Perez
it's not
Periodico.
The case.
Throwback. But listen, I also want to give, first, mad props to Roxanne Perez. Again, she looked like $1 million. Mm-hmm. So did Jordan Grace. But Jordan Grace is, that girl's a trooper. That woman is a fucking trooper.
Yeah.
So for those who didn't watch, early on in the match, I would say within the first 5-ish minutes of the match, we see that Roxanne's bleeding. I think I saw her say, "I'm fucked up" first.
Jordan
Grace.
Yeah, you said Roxanne.
Did I?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Let's roll the tape back.
History will prove that I'm right. Jordan Grace, within the first 5 minutes, was bleeding. We saw she was bleeding, and I think I saw her say to the ref, "I'm fucked up," or something like that. And we're like, where the hell is she bleeding from? Like, because I thought maybe it was her mouth, but it was like a lot of blood.
Yeah.
And she turns, and I see it's like by her hair. I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
I was like, I think she had an earring, but it's not there. And they keep wrestling, and I'm like, what's that shiny thing on Roxanne's leg?
Yeah.
And our suspicions were correct. So earlier today on Instagram, Jordan Grace posted, "I'm officially retiring my in-ring earrings."
That's what I said. None of them should be wearing earrings in the ring. That's
posted
crazy.
Pictures and videos. She's like, trigger warning.
Yeah.
It was like ripped clean out. Yeah. Like the ear was like fucking split, and they had to like do like stitches. But that was so early into the match.
And they had to just keep going.
And they just fucking rolled with it. And they still put on a pretty damn good match. And it was cool that they like, even though Jordan Grace took the loss, which makes perfect sense. They don't want to crop that. I can't imagine the legal tape behind taking a championship to another promotion. But anyway, fuck, I lost my train of thought.
She was a trooper, and even though she lost.
Oh, yeah. The way she lost, I felt like still gave her a strong showing, because shout out to Dana Brooke. Ash by Elegance.
Yeah.
Who showed up kind of distracted. Tatum Paxley also distracted. So I didn't think it was an unbelievable loss, because I know that was like part of it was that they're both tiny, but also one's like so much more jacked than the other.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was a good match, but damn, shout out to Jordan Grace.
Yeah, I agree. It was nice seeing formerly Dana Brooke. And it's cool because it looks like maybe that's something that they'll continue on their end. Like, this match also, story-wise, is going to tie into what they're doing over there.
Right.
But yeah, that was, again, I was falling asleep for most of this. But I think that I liked that match more than the main event.
Yeah. Well, we also had, so I agree. I think it's weird that Jordan Grace and Roxanne Perez weren't the main event, because I feel like that was the bigger.
That's huge. Someone
like,
from a different promotion coming and wrestling. Like,
yeah. So
I know why.
Well, yeah. The NXT Underground match was weird.
Remember how I said earlier, like, oh, I don't think any match really lagged? I lied. This match was boring. It was boring. I don't know what it is about them trying to put, like, MMA rules, MMA stuff. Like, I get it. I get why. But has it worked ever?
Well, to be fair, I know this isn't representative of all underground matches, because I think these two just happen to be former MMA fighters. Mm-hmm. So that's why we had that big influence. But I think that the underground match is kind of the same in the sense of, like, it's going to be like basically knockout or submission. But I don't think it's necessarily like an MMA style fight. Yeah. I just think that because these two have such a history in UFC, that's why you felt that influence there. Yeah. But
I didn't even know it was like a specific type of match.
Yeah, they've done this type of match before, but I've never actually watched them do a underground match before. So I'm gonna go on a limb and say this is probably not the best example. And it's crazy because individually, I don't think this doesn't represent either of their best like matches, their best work. You know, it's just, yeah, I'm with you. It's weird when they try to put this UFC, MMA influence on it, because, and we're saying this as wrestling fans, as WWE fans, like when we're watching this style of wrestling, we kind of know what we're getting. So when you're like, oh, they're going to beat the shit out of each other, it's like, yes.
And then they don't even do it. That's the thing. If I'm going to watch MMA, which I don't, but if I were, it's because I want to see people get hit, right? That's why people are watching it, to see people get hit in creative ways. I watch professional wrestling because I know that, spoiler, they're pulling their punches for the most part. I'm not seeing people getting actually physically injured every single night on television.
They're working together to injure each other.
Exactly. To the point where they're not like down for the count for too long.
Right.
That's why I watch wrestling, because I don't like seeing people getting like seriously injured. But again, if I were to watch MMA, I want to see people get hit.
Right.
So you're taking the worst part of MMA and the worst part of wrestling and like mashing them together. So they're not really working together to have these like big elaborate spots where they're doing cool stuff, but they're also not hitting each other for real. So it's like, who cares?
Yeah, it felt weird, because I'm like, it should have just been like a hardcore match. Like, bring hardcore matches back if you're gonna do it, but they're not, because those matches are fucking brutal. But
yeah, I don't like those either.
But I don't know. I feel like I don't know.
I don't know if there's a way to do it. That's the thing.
It's, again, I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt and saying this is probably not the best representation of an underground match, because I don't think it's supposed to be as UFC style. Yeah. I just think because they're both UFC fighters.
I didn't think that was like an underground match is going to be like an MMA style match. I didn't think that. I figured it was because they both were UFC fighters. So I don't know what an underground match looks like, but if it looks like professional wrestling, I'll probably like it.
Right. Fair enough. And the main event, I thought it was fine. I mean, it's cool to think that like this guy who was a week ago not signed to WWE, his whole storyline is like, hey, I want to come in and disrupt everything and just jump to the main event. Like, I like that. And I think the match was good. But yeah, I don't think any titles exchanged. I think we got one new champion, but there was a vacant championship.
Yeah.
So, which is fine. You don't have to change titles every premium live event, but
Yeah.
But this one was fine. Again, I still think Jordynne Grace and Roxanne Perez should have been the main event.
Agreed.
But overall, a pretty good show. I think NXT continues to show that especially when it comes to premium live events, they know how to fucking show up and show out. I know a lot of people would argue that NXT is the best weekly wrestling show.
Oh.
I don't watch it enough to confirm.
Yeah.
Not that I don't enjoy it when I do watch it.
It's simply a time thing.
Yeah.
There's it's so much.
But anyway, so that is NXT Battleground. All right, next up, hey, you know what we love this time of year? A brand new Star Wars show. It's never controversial. It's never a hot button topic on the internet or in these spaces.
And
it's
always loves it.
They love it, and it's welcome with open arms. Every single time. I love it. I love this time of year. So the Acolyte premiered on Disney Plus, and we got the first 2 episodes. Mm-hmm. And I don't know about you, Kendra. Actually, I do, because we've already talked about it.
We watched it together.
Overall, I think this show's pretty fucking cool.
I really, really like it.
I know I'm one who generally likes a lot. So, but that aside, I really like this one. It's really cool. The first thing we get, other than their own version of an opening crawl. I'm sorry, am I boring you?
Yeah, I already watched it.
So is a fucking hand-to-hand combat scene. We got a fight scene.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people want more lightsaber battles. That's fine, whatever. But I don't want what I want all the time. Otherwise, it wouldn't be special. It would be boring.
Yeah.
So, and this is so new.
I loved seeing so much close quarters, hand-to-hand combat. It was so good. I think I said while I was watching it, I was like, I think this is one of the best fight sequences in Star Wars. Not to be controversial, but it was so good.
It was cool whenever we saw it because in The Mandalorian, there's a lot of gunslinging, right? Mm-hmm. Which is also cool to see, because it gives it that Western, influence. Mm-hmm. But there's a few times where we would see Mando fucking putting his hair up and square up.
Yeah.
So this was really cool to just come out the gate with something completely different.
Yeah.
And because it's Star Wars and because there's Jedi around and Sith around, what's cool is that, now we see this hand-to-hand combat, but they're also using the Force to block moves or evade. It's so refreshing. It's such a cool way to change things up. So, I don't know. There's a lot that I love that this show does. I'll just say this way. There's the way that they're telling this story between the characters, there's a lot of parallels happening. And they're doing it in a very, very interesting way that I think a lot of people might not have expected. I certainly didn't expect it. And just the whole point of this show, and this is in the trailer, so no one, as of right now, the vibe we get from the trailers is what we get in the show, in terms of the show is really going out of its way to make you question whether or not your typical good guys are actually good, and if they're doing good. And that's why the show is set in a specific time period. I don't know, it brings up a lot of interesting questions for what we as Star Wars fans have come to know and expect as Star Wars fans from Star Wars.
Yeah. And I mean, it's about time. I feel like they've done well of skirting around the whole, are Jedi's really the good guys all the time? In my professional opinion, that is a cult. You're all in a cult. If someone's like, hey, you shouldn't love your friends a lot or whatever, consider leaving. So I don't know. But also it's I don't know. I feel like that's a discussion that people have been having for so long. So it's nice to see we get it. We know.
Yeah.
And it's always implied, I feel like. It's always implied. But because we were not stuck, because we were part of this huge saga for so long, and everything was like influenced by this like one event. It's nice to step out of that because this is before all of that.
Right.
It's nice to just like have. That's why I like Rogue One so much, because it's just like right here, just this thing that you need to pay attention to, and all this other baggage is going to come later.
Right. And even when shows like, let's just take Andor for example, like we're fresh on the heels of like, or coming off of the heels of like, okay, the Empire's in place and everyone's life sucks because of it, right? They're overseeing everything. They're making everyone miserable, at least based on what we see. But even the politics of that show is like, well, some are living pretty good from it.
Yeah, some people are better off now.
In movies like another, again, a totally non-controversial film like The Last Jedi shows, you know, Benicio del Toro's character is like selling war like ships and weapons to whoever. He's like, I don't really care who's buying them because war always profits. Like, he goes, they're often buying from the same people. Yeah. And then you have like shows like The Mandalorian that show, okay, the Empire's not in control anymore, sort of, and everyone
still here,
everyone's life is, everyone's living rough right now.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because now with this show we don't have that, and it's super interesting. I don't want to say too much, but I am enjoying it, and we're not going to talk about the fake criticisms that people have. Apparently the show was review bombed hours before the premiere because Rotten Tomatoes,
that doesn't surprise me,
they have a system in place where you viewers can't review until the show premieres. Somehow people got around that for the Acolyte and review bombing it, before they had seen it, for all the reasons all the reasons you think.
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen, hey, this goes for anyone. If you don't like WWE, if you don't like AEW, if you don't like Star Wars, don't fucking watch it.
There's that, and there's also the flip side of it where don't listen to people's criticisms, reviews, even the positive stuff. Do you know how many things I've watched where people are like, I love it, and it was ass? Everything is so personal to your own taste. Don't listen to us and say, oh, well, they liked it, so I must like it too. I purposefully don't look at reviews for like TV, movie, that kind of stuff. I will look at like consumer reviews for things I'm purchasing, like items and such. But like, I don't want to know anyone else's opinions. Because I know myself, and I'm going to go in like in the back of my head thinking like, well, this guy on the internet didn't like it. Who gives a shit? Right. You truly have to like do what I do. Watch something for 10 minutes. And if it's interesting, keep going. And if it's not for you. And you don't have to keep watching it. And for the people who think that, like, I don't know, that's the thing. There are so many people who have weaponized reviews. Right. Because they don't like, name anything. They don't like it. Right. So it's like, it's now, reviews are an untrustworthy source. So I ignore them. That was a rant. I'm sorry, but it's just so frustrating.
No, you see it all the time, especially on like, on social media. Especially, I'm calling out a bunch of TikTokers here. I'm not gonna name them, but like, especially with stuff like Star Wars. But it's that toxicity you see in the Star Wars fandom has also bled over into like just everything, whether it's Marvel, DC, like it just literally everything.
Yeah, there are miserable people
who just
in
don't
every
like
fandom
things.
who watch everything. They watch everything and then decide, oh, actually, I hate that because I don't know, there's a girl in it or whatever. And like, it's just so frustrating.
Here's the thing. I am under the firm belief, based on nothing. No, based on sometimes the way they speak and the things they say, because I'm like, I don't think you actually watched it. I think I don't think some of them watch it. Yeah. I think they read what other people say, go off of that. There was an old clip of an interview that Amanda Stenberg did on Trevor Noah when he was doing The Daily Show. He hasn't hosted that show for like a couple of years now. this interview, it went viral recently in like this
wrong side of the internet.
Yeah, the wrong side of the internet. Basically, the quote people are using is her saying like, "Oh, I want white people to cry. I want to make them uncomfortable," and they're like, "Oh, this is," but they're not providing the context. They're like, "Oh, this is why Disney is losing all this money because they have all this woke shit, and they can't believe they're doing Star Wars like this." The interview was about
the hate
you give.
Yeah, which is about racism.
So like,
and she was probably talking about like what a win it would be to get people who don't experience the thing in the movie to also feel something.
And all you had to do is Google, hey, when did she have this interview?
Yeah.
Use that if you follow Trevor Noah at all, if you follow The Daily Show at all, you know Jon Stewart's back there, and with a number of other people who
Those people don't watch The Daily Show, though, John.
Right. Yeah. Anyway.
But it's just, again, it's doing your due diligence of looking stuff up before you get upset.
Right. So
look at the context, look at the time, because also she's what, 25?
Yeah.
How long ago was she a child? Not very long ago, so I don't know. But also, she didn't say anything wrong. But also,
right.
Yeah, just do research before you flap your gums.
Watch the fucking show, and don't like, even if you like, we have a film critic that we like. We love Perry Nemiroff over at Collider. I used to be a huge fan of Collider. Am I a fan? Not really anymore. I still love Perry.
Yes.
And
if she says something's
nine
good.
times out of 10, but also I find that Perry, I resonate with her, because she does the opposite of what so many people do. She does not typically go into something looking for something to hate. She's going in excited and looking for something to like. She goes in with the intention of liking what she's going to be watching. And sometimes she'll say if it's bad, she'll still talk about things she likes. But so 9 times out of 10, I do trust her word. But I've also been following her for years.
And it takes a while to come and like understand whether or not you resonate with someone, again, on something so personal like film and movies and television.
Right. And the way they approach it.
Yeah.
But sometimes you see these people, mostly dudes, just come in, or
sorry, dudes,
or pick me girls, who whatever.
Sorry, pickies.
Who are just rage baiting, trying to get engagement, and it's just like, y'all. Sorry, we weren't planning on doing all this ranting.
It is just so frustrating because it's like, can we not ever have any good things or any progress ever? Well, here's the good thing. It seems like people don't give a shit what those people have to say because we're still getting these TV shows, these Star Wars TV shows that are the main character is a woman of color.
Right.
So maybe your opinion's the minority. And you're just really fucking loud about it.
Yeah, and you know what? Keep crying about it. Just shut the fuck up. Like,
keep it to yourself. If you don't like something, there's a way to keep it to yourself. Even if we don't like stuff. We did just shit on that one match.
we didn't. Sorry, hang on. We did not go on and on a personal level on how we didn't like
because we didn't like it because it was 2 women.
Right. We didn't go on and on about how they can't wrestle. We never said that. One, I don't believe that. But also, like, if you don't like something, I'm not going to spend so much energy talking about it. Like, that's like us talking about AEW. Like, if we if we mention it, that's, you know, sometimes it's unavoidable. We're not going to talk about what happens on Dynamite or Rampage or Collision or whatever because we do not watch it.
Yeah.
It would not make sense for us to talk about it anyway. All that to say, so far I'm really digging the Acolyte. The
only
first 2
episodes out, yeah.
So I think there's only 8 episodes, something like that. So
you know what I miss? 22 episode season. Why can't we do a 22 episode season of a Star Wars show?
These shows are expensive.
Is it because it's so very expensive?
Well, we had something like we had a longer season with Andor, so which is still by far and large the best Star Wars anything. Anyway, yeah, I'm really digging the show. So once you watch it, we would love to hear your thoughts on it. Anyway, all right, moving along, we're going to do a quick recap. So this week's WWE recap is actually going to just be us reviewing or going over the matches that have been confirmed for Clash at the Castle. Scotland. So far we have...
so sorry. That was a horrible accent.
So far we have 4 matches confirmed.
Okay.
Now, again, Raw and SmackDown has not happened yet, so...
Yeah.
Also, we probably won't be doing a pre-per-view this week. Or if we do, it might be on a different day. But I don't think we're going to be doing one.
You know what we can do? Sorry, strategy meeting in the middle of this. We could do the short version where we just go through and say...
Oh, so not a stream, but like a video.
Yeah, and just post it on TikTok. And so follow us on TikTok to see. We'll run down the card and give our predictions in short form. You won't get to hear us blabbering on
I like the cut of your jib,
idea. I like that idea.
Anyway, so here is what we got so far. That sentence didn't make sense. Here is what we got so far. So for Clash at the Castle, we have got El Campeón Damian Priest, who was at the Puerto Rican Day Parade with Zelina Vega, versus Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship. And very much looking forward to the match. These are 2 big, beefy men.
Yeah.
Doing big, beefy things.
I think it'll be really, really good.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a good match.
Will fucking Joe Hendry show up?
I don't know. It's just, oh my God, it would be so perfect. It's
we just need someone to say his
perfect.
name there.
It's too good.
Yeah.
I hope he does. God, that'd be good.
We've got Bailey versus Piper Niven. Freaking Peepus.
Yes.
Killer. She and Bailey had a killer segment. They made so much out of the 5 minutes they were given on TV.
Yeah.
I am hyped for this match, and I'm hyped for Piper. I'm hyper for Piper.
Hyper.
Yeah.
Okay. I think you said I'm Piper for Piper, and I said, sweetie, no, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Hyper for Piper.
Hyper for Piper does make sense.
Yeah.
I didn't catch the H.
I'm hyper for Piper.
I'm hyper for Piper.
Anyway, same. I'm very excited. I'm very glad that they did give Piper this opportunity. I feel like it would be an extra level of shitty to be like one of the very few people from a certain country
Right.
on the roster, and then to go there and you're not included at all. I think that'd be shitty. So I'm glad that they're giving her such a big opportunity too. It's not just like, but it's not a match, like a mid-card match
right.
for nothing. It's going to be a championship match.
And she has a bit of a story going with Bailey. It's not like that random feud they put her in with Becky Lynch a couple years ago, where the WrestleMania sign burst into flames.
Oh, yeah.
One match I did not put on here, so this is my bad as a journalist. We have Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable for the Intercontinental Championship, where Alpha Academy has to do or die on this one. They got to figure out what the fuck they're going to do.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with Alpha Academy this week upcoming.
Yeah, but that is I forgot to write that one down, so I wanted to make sure while it was in my brain.
Yeah. Love Chad Gable. Very excited for that match.
Love Chad Gable. We've got a triple threat tag team match for the Women's Tag Team Championship. We have got Bianca and Jade versus Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. Shayna Baszler's going 2 weekends in a row.
Yeah.
Premium live events. Good for her. And the Unholy Trinity, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. Looking forward to this match. I think Jade and Bianca have been killing it with those championships. I like all their matches so far. And yeah, I think this is going to be a really fun match.
Same. I'm really excited to see the Unholy Trinity because if we've seen both of them together in a tag match, it was not for very long, and it's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
So they need to utilize them on this main roster. So
I agree.
We'll see.
And then most recently we got Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles Part 2 in the form of an I Quit match.
Yes. The last I Quit match you reminded me of was Edge's I Quit match.
Yes.
When they were beating the shit out of, I'm going to get it, Beth Phoenix.
There you go. Yeah, he hit her with a fucking tasty concerto.
Yeah. I think they got her twice.
Yeah. So we still haven't seen her since, so.
I hope she's doing okay.
So a couple championships right now, not specified. We don't have the U.S. title on the line here. I'm not sure we're gonna get that.
Yeah.
I have a feeling they're gonna drag, not drag, but I feel like they're gonna play that story between Logan Paul and LA Knight through SummerSlam since that's in Ohio.
Yeah.
That's the Cleve.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any men's tag team championships on the card right now. I could be wrong, and that might change this week.
Well, who knows? Because it's really rough with A-Town Down Under right now.
Yeah. So. We'll fucking see. And we also, interestingly enough, not on the card, Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
Then our new women's world champion.
I'm not gonna lie, I forgot she won that.
Yeah. So, but she's going through a lot with the Judgment Day.
Is she going through a lot with the Judgment Day, or is she putting the Judgment Day through a lot?
Yes.
Yes. Well, yes.
Yeah. You got to go through it to get through it.
You didn't come this far just to come this far. I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with Liv going forward, because the direction that they started to take was like not the one I thought they were going to do.
Right.
And I still feel like they can go in two different directions where, like, specifically Dominic Mysterio is like okay with what's happening, or he's not. And it feels like they're going this way, but there's still time to swerve, you know what I mean? We still got a mile left until that exit comes up.
Yeah. So. And I know some people are really anxious for Rhea to get back. I don't think she's going to be back in time for Clash at the Castle.
No, I don't think so either.
Now, whether that means Liv is going to be putting her title on the line before then, I don't know. I don't even know if I think maybe she returns at SummerSlam, but I don't think she's going to compete at SummerSlam.
Rhea?
Yeah.
I don't know the extent of her injury. That's so frustrating.
Right.
To not know and not have an estimated time of arrival.
But I don't know. Like, I would like to see the story with Dominic play out a little bit more.
Same. I agree.
And also, depending on if Finn wins Money in the Bank, if he enters Money in the Bank, that could create some interesting tension for El Campeón.
Yeah.
If he retains.
I would love to see the Demon.
The fucking Demon.
Haven't seen the Demon in a while. Also, please, Donald Trump, if you hear me, Donald Trump, please.
Oh my God, stop.
I need to see Dominic Mysterio in a match against either, depending on which direction we're going, Liv Morgan or Rhea Ripley. I need to see it. Show me to me, Rachel.
Oh my God.
I got 2 in there.
Yeah, you did. Jesus Christ.
But seriously, it's like too good. And I keep seeing Reclusa matches from Lucha Underground or whatever. Right. Wrestling men, I want to see more men and women wrestling.
His name is evading me, but that guy who was in those matches with Chelsea Green, apparently he's going to be a free agent soon, and supposedly WWE is interested in him.
Take 2.
And people are like, we need to run it back.
Oh my God.
Io Sky's here. Fucking
yes.
Chelsea Green's here. This man. Also, totally unrelated. And I know we just said that we don't watch AEW, but sometimes they do something that I'm like, man, do I want to watch this week? Apparently on Collision this Saturday, they're having a Father's Day celebration.
Oh, no.
Hosted by Christian Cage.
Oh, no. If there's one thing I know about that man, he hates fathers.
No, he
loves when they're dead.
He wants to be everyone's father.
I see. Yeah, I agree. It's one of those things where I'm like, damn, should
Tony Storm? Every time you see Tony Storm do anything,
yeah,
it's so great,
so good.
Anyway, but sorry, totally unrelated.
Yeah,
yeah, I'm very interested in seeing. I would like to see Liv do something, but again, I get that there's a bigger story at play here,
right?
So we'll fucking see. But anyway. Follow our socials to get our predictions on the card once we figure out what the rest of the card is.
They're down there.
All right. Well, I think that about covers. I told y'all we were going to blaze through it this week.
We have 7 minutes and counting until Raw comes on the air. We're going to be a little scared by a little QR code.
Oh, God. We didn't
Get ready to be scared by a QR code.
Codes.
The QR codes are getting out of hand. They do frighten me. We didn't even talk about that. Isn't whoever is behind the QR codes scheduled to be there either in Scotland or the Raw after or the SmackDown before?
I don't know. I thought it was the Raw after.
Okay.
But
there was a date and I can't remember what it was.
Yeah. I thought it was the 17th.
Okay. Then yeah.
I don't know.
Or the 15th. I don't know, but guys, he's coming. He's going to be here. They're going to be here soon. Because it sounds like multiple people.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, thank y'all for listening.
Happy
If
Pride.
if you haven't already, please follow us on all our various socials, TikTok, Instagram, all that shit. You can stream. Well, if you're listening to this, you know where you can stream the podcast. I don't know why I always say like check us out, but you can also watch the podcast on YouTube. In addition to some other stuff we've got going on YouTube, so you can check us out there, and be sure you comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff. And keep an eye out for anything else we've got coming up. Again, no pre-preview in the normal way that we do it, because we're on vacations on April. You know, I always think of Spider-Man and Always Sunny when I hear that song.
Yeah, I think of Spider-Man.
There was that Jersey Shore episode of Always Sunny.
God.
That song played.
Oh my God. I remember Dee getting her hair pulled out from that one thing. I think about that all the time. It's actually making me a little queasy. I hate that part. We gotta go.
Anyway, thank y'all for checking us out. And we'll see y'all on the flip side. This has been
Ringside. We didn't get to do it in the beginning together because I powered through.
Yeah.
See ya.